Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll be starting the webinar in around 2 minutes' time. We're just waiting for another member to join, and then we'll begin in around 2 minutes. So make sure you've got your coffee, and we'll see you soon.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Roshan, Head of International Development. I believe I've spoken to all of you within the last week, so just wanted to say pleasure to have you all here today, and we're looking forward to giving you more information about the International Tax Club today. Before we carry on, if you can just confirm that you can all hear us clearly. There's a questions tab at the bottom of your screen, or it should be to the right, and if you can just type yes in the box, that you can hear us clearly, and then we'll carry on. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'd like to just welcome all of you, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules this afternoon. I assure you it will be a very valuable time with us. So I just wanted to take the time out and firstly introduce everyone who's joining us on the webinar today. We do have a full house minus one member. So I'm just going to basically introduce everyone, and then I'll pass you over to Mitch, okay? So guys, just to introduce, we have Malcolm Malak from Malta, from M. Malak and Associates. From Portugal, we have Augusto Paulino representing your advisory. From Mithra CVBA, Belgium, initially it was Hendrik Putman who was going to be joining us, but David Mush, who's also a senior partner at the firm, is representing Hendrik today. So welcome. Cyprus, we have from Royal Pine and Associates, our member that we was initially having to join us was Konstantinos Ekonomide, but we have the pleasure of Mary Trimothy to joining us, representing Royal Pine today. We also have, you guys are existing members, but we also have, and we would like to give a big warm welcome to 2 of our Germany members. So we have Renate Schnursch, representing Kanzlei Schnursch, and so she's big warm welcome to Renate. And also from Germany, we have Ulrike Schoenig, representing Degenkraft Both. I'm not sure if Matthias Degen is with you today, Ulrike, but if he is, just let us know in the questions tab so we can, and if he is with you, a big warm welcome. So thank you for joining us today, guys. So I'm Roshan, Head of International Development. I'm going to just take the time out to give you a little bit more context about what's going to happen next over the webinar. We're going to give you some information about the near future developments, what is happening in the background, what you can look forward to, just to give you an idea of what countries we're speaking to who may be joining us in the very near future. And also we'll just give you a bit more information of, again, future developments and what you can look forward to, okay? So guys, I'm just going to introduce Mitch. Mitch Young is our Director of Tax and co-founder of Fusion Consulting and International. I believe you've all spoken to Mitch previously. So just take time out to welcome Mitch today, and then we'll continue. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks, Roshan. And as you guys have seen, there's question tab. So if you all have any questions as we progress throughout the webinar, feel free to jot them down there, and we'll get to them towards the end of the webinar. So a big thank you for all for your efforts thus far, and obviously for Roshan for organising the webinar, which is something we're going to be doing on a regular basis. So essentially what I wanted to cover in this section is really what we've achieved so far and where we're heading. So as you all know, this is a new initiative which we set up based on my experiences with the clients internationally. It's really one of its own international tax organization where we're focusing on relationships, 3 members per jurisdiction. And from a standing start, we've invested in technology to create the members portal, and we'll move on to some developments on that side in the latter slides. And as we know, the portal is meant to be a communication tool where not only do we register leads and inquiries that we may have for our international clients, but also where we can use it for expertise requests. And it's really important that we're using that when and if you need assistance on the various jurisdictions, tax queries that you may be having. So we're very happy with the portal. Obviously, we've built it on the tech side of things, but also from a graphic design point of view. Aesthetically, it looks very pleasing, and the overall aim, hopefully within the next year, is to create some type of video conference networking facility. Obviously, that's a big task in itself, but that's the vision for where we get to. Roshan will talk about the news and resources a bit later on. What we've managed to achieve over the past 6 months is to build a very nice CRM of tax advisors who are interested in this idea and concepts. Everyone we speak to, well, not everyone, but every advisor who has an element of international work is interested about this organization. We've hired Roshan, who is doing a great job. Roshan started a couple of months ago, and he's been employed to essentially grow the organization. He calls a number of tax advisors around the world whom we believe will be a good fit. He'll have the conversation, he'll then do the due diligence, explain how it works, and then we'll onboard them. So Roshan is having a number of calls per day, and he'll talk to you a bit about the type of new members who are coming on board. In particular, I've been speaking to a fairly large corporate organization who have actually completed an application form and are potentially thinking about putting a number of their organizations across the world, which obviously we need to think about. But that's very exciting news to have the support of a large institution come on board, which hopefully I'll be able to announce next week. As we all know, the top 4 accounting and tax firms have their own international networks. So the feedback from these organizations, pretty much, they don't need to join. So in terms of the corporates, it's the next rung down of international accounting and tax firms. So that's really exciting. The social media has been set up, and again, that's something we'll come on with as well. But it is very exciting times. We're doing all the right things. We're doing everything we can in the right way, in a professional way, to get this moving and a number of members on board, so we're all able to use the platform and do more business.
Thank you, Mitch. And just to add to what Mitch has actually said as well, I just wanted to state, guys, we do have a full house today. As Mitch has just stated, we do have a new member who should be joining us, or potentially 2 members who should be joining us very shortly. We also, the only member who hasn't unfortunately been able to join us today is Maria Manzano from Spain, who's an independent tax specialist. But we have had communications with her, and she will be joining us in the near future. So just to give you an idea, guys, obviously I've had conversations with all of you. I've been speaking to a number of firms, partners and CEOs from across the globe. And the main thing is here is not to just speak to and allow any firm to join. It's the most important factor is having the right fit for both firms obviously involved, and who are willing to contribute, innovate, and obviously share knowledge and expertise collectively. To give you an idea, I've been in talks with a few firms from America, Chicago, New York, and also Texas. Recently been speaking to Italy, Netherlands, France, China, Croatia, a firm out in the UAE who's connected to a few countries from there, and also Luxembourg and Canada. Okay, so I mean, just to mainly touch on the one of these points that are here, it's just as Mitch said, it's not necessarily we're looking for the biggest firms who have the most staff and the largest turnover. We're looking for the right level of experience in the club, hence why you are all here today. I mean, I've spoken to all of you individually previously, some of you before you've joined, and the main thing I think we have here, which is in our arsenal, is that we have a level of experience, across the globe, and a high caliber of individuals who have had previous experience within the big 4 entities or large corporations, but you've also taken that experience and knowledge and fine-tuned it, and to offer a bespoke offering, obviously, and service to your clients, which obviously is the focal point of why we're here today, to increase efficiency and reduce time for the end user. Also, for the last point, increase each member's global presence and brand to position ourselves as key players and authorities in the international tax circuit. I think what is most important here is the fact of, I know some of you already have an international reach and you do have relationships pre-existing, but I think the club allows each firm to expand and enhance your service offering to your clients. And also position yourself as global firms from a marketing perspective as well, which obviously we'll touch on more later in this webinar, as we'll be pushing social media, etc. more, and collectively collaborating to increase each firm's global presence. So let's move on to the next slide. So the portal, Mitch, if you just want to give a bit of background about the portal, and then I'll go into the user capabilities and explain that in a little bit more in depth.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So you've all had the demo of the portal. You've all been set up. It's pretty self-explanatory in terms of the tabs on there. One area that Roshan has been working hard on is the news and the resources, which we'll come on to. Everyone should ensure their profile is fully up to date, which I believe they are now. Yeah, they are now. And obviously, when more members join, there'll be more communication going out from the portal as well.
Yes, and guys, I've obviously spoken to you all about your individual profiles and what developments are coming in the near future in the portal. Just to touch on that point again about the actual your members bio section. I've noticed that you all have, or the majority of you have uploaded pictures, obviously of yourselves, your company logos, also your services and your social media links. Just please take the time out within this next week and as soon as possible, just to make sure that your social media links are all syncing up to your, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook and your website pages. And also, if you haven't already, there's a bio section that we've introduced recently. If you can just get a little bit more detail, give some context about yourselves as individuals and your firms, some background and obviously to what your firm does and your capabilities, it just gives a little bit more of a personal feel. I mean, just to take an example, if you can look at on the member section when you get some time today, or if you have it open on the screen, if you take a look at Mitch's profile and Augusto's profile from Portugal, you can see that they have their services, capabilities and bio section, and that will obviously increase relationships and trust across the board as well. On the portal as well, as we've stated, I've spoken to you all about obviously feedback and suggestions. Please do keep in mind that this is a collaborative effort. So any suggestions you have, if it's, for example, any suggestions about developments or in the resources or news sections, please let us know. You have my email, Mitch's and Shimon's details. Let us know, and also in the resources section in particular, if you have a look later today, you can see that we have some overview documents about UK tax rates and a brochure from Fusion. Augusto from Portugal has actually sent us a very valuable piece of content, or two pieces of content, just showcasing his firm and capabilities and some extra value as well. So have a look and get that over to us as soon as possible, and we'll get that uploaded to just provide as much value to the network and club as possible. And just some feedback to add as well, guys. Obviously, the introductory areas are pretty self-explanatory, but when you do introduce a client to a fellow member, just give as much detail and context as possible. So, the client's details, their contact details, some context about the industry, what the client's capabilities and requirements are, what their end result is, and also any contact details for yourself. Obviously, when you introduce a client, there will be communication across the portal, but sometimes you may need to speak to each other directly. So leaving contact details so you can speak to each other in real time would definitely help. Some feedback also we've had is once an introduction has taken place, to have a follow-up. So let's say, for example, if we've introduced business to one of our members that we have on the call today, when you have spoken to that client and whether it's turned into business or not, just update that fellow member on the status, because obviously collectively they are our clients that we want to obviously serve and build as much rapport and keep communications with. Other than that, we have the news section. Obviously, we will be adding articles progressively. If you have any important and valuable information from your particular country and firm, please send us news articles as well as the resources, and we'll get that uploaded. And just to add the last part about forums, group discussions, as you can see on the portal, the forum section is coming soon. It is something that we will be rolling out in the very near future. and that will allow all members to also contribute, collaborate, and talk about key points and discussions to obviously talk about future innovations and how we can help each other collectively. Okay.
Okay, so now these are some updates of what's going to be happening from today. There's some improvements and some added value stuff of what we're going to be putting into place. So there's going to be the monthly newsletter, which will be sent out via email. And the aim of the newsletter is that we're going to highlight one member per month. So that will be some key areas of expertise, a bit of profile about their organization, who they're looking for, and that will be sent out once a month along with some updates and information from the organization. So that will be a really exciting development and a chance for everyone to showcase their services again. We're going to be starting some online discussions, so that will be on topical tax issues across the world. So that will be via the improvement or the setup of the forum on the portal, as Roshan mentioned. But also we're going to spend a bit more time on our social media. So at the moment, there's just some generic posting going on about international tax news. But what we're going to be doing is setting up a Facebook group, the LinkedIn group, and the LinkedIn group, Facebook group, and that's it. And doing some discussions across social media and getting more tax advisors potentially involved that way. We're also going to be spending some time on advertising across social media. We've got a social media executive who will be helping to spread awareness of what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve as well. And then working towards our first quarterly online magazine, which we will produce towards the summertime, where we'll be requesting articles from all of you. It'd be on a PDF magazine format that we can then send round, each of us, to our own database and network, which will be very exciting as well over the next quarter. Of course, what we're going to be doing is the monthly webinars. So these webinars, we won't go into this much sort of detail about from where we were to where we are today, because this is obviously the first webinar. But as we come on to the next slides, we'll be giving all the members the opportunity to talk about themselves and introduce new members. And obviously, it's a way of us all discussing and communicating. So the webinars are also going to be a key feature. And then finally, what I'm going to do is have Shimon add in some codes on the portal, whereby once we have a new member who has set up a new profile on the portal, it will automatically email all the other members to say, we have a new member and here is the individual's details. So that way you may want to pick up the phone and introduce yourself at that point, or make contact. For instance, Roshan mentioned a few of the countries who are potentially looking to come on board over the next few days, potentially Netherlands and Italy in particular. And you may have a tax query or a client in that jurisdiction straight away, so you may just want to touch base and not necessarily wait for the monthly webinars. And then, of course, it's all going to culminate in our first annual conference, which we'll be announcing towards the end of next quarter, a plan for that.
Thank you, Mitch. And just to add something to this, to the communications update, as Mitch stated, in monthly newsletters, there will be a member of the month to showcase your capabilities. and services from your particular firm. But bear in mind that it will be a bi-monthly newsletter. So if you do have any relevant articles that you can believe that can bring value or information, which has basically been highlighted in your particular country that month, get them sent over to me and Shimon, and we can add that to the monthly newsletter as well. Just so we can, the whole point of the newsletter is obviously to showcase each member's capabilities and services, but also to keep each other collectively up to date on the global tax news and legislation updates as well. Also, just to add, the increase in social media presence, if you do take a look, we do have Facebook and LinkedIn, which are active, but there'll be a big push from the Stusion International team, who will be creating more content, etc., and will be using resources that you also divulge to us to increase brand awareness for the International Tax Club, to show more presence online, but also to increase each of your firm's brand and global presence in the world circuit of tax as well. And that is the long-term view. I do stress this is a long-term solution, not a short-term view. So also the Future Club webinars is, today we're obviously giving some background, we're giving everyone a chance to be introduced to each other, but in the future they will be much more specific, as Mitch has mentioned, and each member will get a chance to obviously give key points from their particular country and firm's climate and news. And the new member alerts as well, as Mitch stated, there'll be new email alerts, but in the bi-monthly webinars, that will be a chance to introduce new members who have joined as well, and give them a big warm welcome also. So what we're going to do now, we're going to move over to the members' introductions. We just wanted to take the time and give you an overview of, from me and Mitch. But today, which is most important, is to give each of you a chance to introduce yourselves, and showcase some of what you can do, because obviously the more we work together, this is a portal and a club on a collaborative playing field as well. So what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to introduce you all each individually, and take the time out to just introduce who you are yourself, the country you are representing, and the name of your firm. What you do, what services your firm provides, and what you specialize in. Also give some context about what your ideal client is. I mean, I know you all specialize in different industries. What does your ideal client look like? What industry are you normally helping and assisting clients in? And what are your clients mainly looking for? And lastly, as well, what makes your firm, you as individuals, and what your firm what does make you unique, and what you can bring, what extra value you can bring to the club, obviously, so we can all keep in mind and collaborate, obviously, in the near future as well, collectively. So I just wanted to take the time out. Firstly, I know I've introduced Mitch as well, and he's been speaking, but Mitch, are obviously director of Fusion and head of the International Club. He's just going to give you a bit more information about him and what we're doing here in the UK.
Okay, thanks, Roshan. So good to kick things off, and hopefully this works, because at the moment you're all on mute. So we're going to have to, I guess, unmute you one by one when it's your turn. So we'll see how we get on, and hopefully it all works nicely. So I'm a private client tax advisor. I advise on private clients in the UK. In particular, about 35% of my client base is international. So I have two very nice contracts, one with an international wealth management firm and one with an international property company, who I'm actually seen as an in-house tax advisor. So I get around 5 to 10 leads a day, all of which have an international focus. Most prominent is non-UK residents buying UK property, and I deal with the tax compliance of that, how best to structure the ownership of a UK property. I advise on individuals, non-domiciled individuals who are looking to remit funds into the UK. The most tax efficient way of doing that in the UK, the tax treatment of a non-UK domiciled is fairly complex, and it's important that various steps are put into place before they remit funds into the UK. I deal with clients coming to and leaving the UK, analysing their residency position. There's a piece of legislation called the Statutory Residency Test, so individuals need to know about that. Again, to be tax efficient, I advise on death taxes. So inheritance tax in the UK is at 40% over and above a certain amount, so very, very high. And that's if you've got UK assets or UK domiciles. So that's very interesting area. We also have an accounting division, so we deal with the setup of UK companies, we deal with corporation tax structuring, group structuring, so clients who just want a UK entity, we're able to assist with them as well. So I guess an ideal client for me would be, probably a private individual or a business who is looking to set up a UK entity or bring funds to the UK or invest in UK property. I'll be well placed to advise them. My company, we've been going for 3 years. I used to be a tax partner of a London practice and set up my own firm. We've been going for 3 years. There's now 25 staff. We've doubled year on year. And it's a very exciting time. And I look forward to working and collaborating with all of you.
Thank you, Mitch, for that valuable information. So I'd just like to take the time out to now introduce Renate Schnursch from Kanzlei Schnursch. I do want to say, guys, I apologize in advance if I do pronounce anyone's names wrong. I am doing my best. But I'd just like to introduce Renate and obviously to give a bit more information about yourself and your firm. We're just going to unmute you now, Renate, so go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello to everybody. So I'm Renate Schnursch, and I'm running a small office in the heart of Munich, which is in Bavaria. And we have on Monday our 18th anniversary. Due to my history as I'm from Ernst & Young, we work with a lot of clients from abroad already, but I'm always looking for contacts in the other countries because my clients open representative offices or branches in different countries, and then they ask first me for a recommendation. And that's the reason why I have joined the club. So the scope of our service is the normal scope from accounting to payroll, tax returns, due diligence, and any kind of withholding tax with the federal tax authorities of Germany. The only thing which we cannot provide is anything of contracting, because that's only for lawyers, like my colleague from Berlin, who is joining the club. And what we also not do is expatriates, because they have a very good colleague. So the perfect client for me is a client who works always over the borders, because that's where we are, let's say, specialists, and where we always work together with Big Four companies, or at least if you have a very good local partner. Anything else, maybe you check on the website. What's unique, we are women only. That was not planned, that's happened. And we are only want to have a very good contact, very good communication with our clients, because that's the difference to the Big Fours and to the larger companies, that we try to see problems before they appear for our clients, and that's only possible if you stay in contact. So that's all what I want to say to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Renate. I really appreciate that, and it was great information. I can say that I have spoken to quite a few members from Renate's firm, and they are a team of super women, and their customer service is all excellent as well, and they're very friendly. So keep that in mind. So I would just like to introduce from Portugal, Augusto Paulino from Your Advisory. So Augusto, we now have you on the line. So go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, so hello everyone. First of all, a big thanks to Mitch and his team for this initiative, because I think it would be a project of pretty much success in the future. And it's really good to be part of this group from the beginning. Just a brief presentation of myself. I work for PwC as tax consultant for 15 years, and then 2 years and a half ago, I decided to accept a challenge from a Portuguese group, which is Group Your, to create a new tax practice with them. Group Your has several years of existence, is a national group, Portuguese based exclusively, and the main business or the core business still the accounting services. But in the last couple of years, we spread the of services, and that's why I came here, let's say, to create the tax practice. In terms of our target of clients, I would say that would be low mid corporate clients, low mid tier corporate clients, and also private clients. In practice, we provide a wide range of services in the tax areas, except litigation when it goes to court, because we cannot provide in Portugal legal services. So it's a limitation to our activity, but besides that, I would say that we can do everything else in tax matters. And basically, I think that's it. I look forward to work with you all in the future.
Thank you, Augusto. And also, just to add some information and value as well, Augusto did send us some resources last night, which we've uploaded up to the portal today. So do take the time out you can have a little bit more of an in-depth view of the services and capabilities of Augusto's firm, and also he has some interesting information regarding some specific tax news and legislation that's applicable in Portugal. I believe is also valuable. So have a look, guys, and obviously send us resources when and accordingly. I just wanted to add as well, while we're introducing everyone, is if you have any specific questions, obviously for myself and Mitch, please do put them in the questions box. But also, if you have any questions for any other members of the services and the background and information they're providing, also put that into the questions box as well, and we'll read those questions out, and we'll open it up to that particular member to answer as well. Okay. I'd just like to introduce now Malcolm Malak from Malta. And his firm is M. Malak and Associates. So welcome to the webinar. Welcome, and go ahead when you're ready.
Hi, hello everybody. First and foremost, thank you, Roshan, for the good work you're doing, and thanks, Mitch, and for bringing us all together. A brief introduction about myself. Basically, after graduating from university as a public accountant, I've worked with the International Tax Department of Deloitte for 3 years, from 2002 up till 2005, beginning 2006. And then from then onwards, I've moved on and set up my own private office in Malta. basically, that means I've been working in the international tax arena for the last 16 years. My practice has started from a one-man show, which was myself, and nowadays we're a team of 8 to 9 people. Basically, myself, I'm in charge of the tax advisory arm of our office, where I give tax advice to individuals and corporate who want to move to Malta, individuals domiciling in Malta, corporate structures that want to tap into Malta because of the many tax advantages that Malta can offer under different schemes. And when it comes to individuals, I'm also an authorized tax representative for the retirement program, the individual investor program. So basically, we can support any service that is required for persons wanting to tapping into Malta. Then through the rest of the office, we're capable of offering corporate services, setting up VAT and accounting compliance, tax and auditing services to all individuals and companies who want to do their service. So if I had to say what would be our ideal clients, typically, as I said, we deal with individuals, private individuals, and even businesses. Typically, they would be small to mid-sized businesses, private families businesses who want to use Malta or want to enjoy the sun and at the same time the tax advantages that Malta can offer. What makes us unique, I think one of our, and it's the positive feedback that I get from our clients is that when a client deals with our office, for whatever services and whatever needs he needs, we give him a one contact point. So each client, as soon as he's onboarded, he's informed who the team working on his services will be, but he will be given a contact point. So the client always goes to the same contact person, and unlike what happens with different larger accounting firms, rather than having to ask 10 people to get an answer, with us, he just asks the one person and he'll get the answer he deserves. Basically, that is what we do. If anyone has questions or anything, you can send me emails or go to our website. Once again, I thank you, Mitch, and thank you, Roshan, Shimon, for this opportunity that you're giving us.
Thank you very much, Malcolm, and it is a pleasure as well, and I've had the pleasure of speaking to you in the last few days, and thank you for all the valuable information that you've given us too. I'd just like to introduce now, from Cyprus, Royal Pine and Associates. Initially we had Konstantinos joining us, but in place of Konstantinos we have Mary Trimathutu. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Mary, but a warm welcome to yourself, and introduce yourself when you're ready.
That's fine. Thank you very much, Roshan. Good afternoon, all. I don't know, first of all, I'm very glad to be here with you. And of course, very excited that Royal Pine is a founding member of this new venture. And I'm truly hope and I believe it will be very successful. So first, a few things about myself. I am a qualified accountant by profession. I had been working in Deloitte for 8 years, and then thereafter I moved on into the corporate services industry. So actually Royal Pine is a corporate services firm primarily. So we set up companies for clients and we manage them. Of course, we offer a variety of other services related, including legal services, financial services. We also do citizenships. We have a very interesting citizenship scheme in Cyprus, I'm sure you know. And of course, we're also involved in tax advisory and tax consulting, relating to various regimes and restructuring and etc. We are a firm of, I can still say, young professionals in a dynamic environment. And of course, we are interested in clients who are seeking to structure, maybe mostly we have hosting companies, usually hosting shares of foreign subsidiaries because of a very favorable tax regime we have in Cyprus, especially for foreign investors. So we also have individual clients, but also have corporate clients. That's it from me, I think, for now.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mary. And also I have to personally say thank you for the extra information and value that you've given over the last few days. Mary's also introduced us to another potential member that I'll be speaking to later today, and I'll be looking forward to speaking with. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end, guys, but obviously keep in mind that we are growing this collectively. So if you do have any other firms you work alongside of and you are confident in their experience and service they provide, please let us know so we can have these conversations with them. Okay, so I'd just like to introduce now from Belgium, and the company is Mithra CVBA. Initially, Hendrik Putman was joining us, but I believe Hendrik unfortunately couldn't make it, and David Mush, who's also a senior partner at the firm, will be representing Mithra CVBA in his place.
That is correct. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm also looking forward, together with the entire team, to working with you. My name is indeed David Musche from the Belgian tax law firm Mithra. We started back in December 2016 with 3 partners, myself, Hendrik, and Sophie. We have a Big Four and Big Law background, namely mostly Deloitte Legal, and Baker McKenzie. And now at this time, we already are 11 lawyers. We focus on tax law only here in Aalst, which is just north of Brussels. The first thing we do is litigation, both civil as criminal tax law litigation. And then secondly is advisory. We have some areas of expertise. My own area of expertise is everything that's transactional tax related. M&A tax, so due diligence, pre and post acquisition structuring, applying for private letter rulings, etc. Apart from that, we have general corporate and individual tax advice. 2 areas we focus on, or 3 areas we focus on specifically also, is HR related taxation, so stock option plans, private equity, etc. Then secondly, everything that has to do with the taxation of innovation. Belgium is an interesting hub for everything that's innovation related due to certain specific tax incentives. And then lastly, about a half a year ago, we a 4th partner joined, Petra, who runs the estate planning practice here at our firm. What do we sell? What does our client base look like? Mostly, I would say medium-sized companies that are looking to grow and expand. So that's why also I think this being a part of this is interesting for us and for our clientele, because a lot of them are looking to expand internationally. What do we stand for? And then I go back to what we all missed in a Big Four context, and what we want to do and try to achieve here at our firm Mithra, is to create and have a long-lasting relationship with our clients, be with them from the beginning, and help them grow nationally and internationally, rather than just trying to squeeze out as much as possible from day one. That's not what we stand for. So I think that's it for now. Thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, David, and also pleasure to be introduced to you. I had a lengthy conversation with Hendrik, which I'm sure he informed you about, but it's a big welcome to you for obviously joining as in his place as well. And we look forward to speaking to you in the future. And last but not least, I'd like to welcome Ulrika, sorry, my mistake, from Degenkraft Bath. And also, I'm not sure if Matthias is with you, but Ulrika, welcome. Ulrika has actually joined recently from Degenkraft, So a big welcome, and introduce yourself when you're ready.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon to all. As already said, I'm Ulrike Schöning and I'm representing Degenkraft Barth, which is a German firm offering a range of services in the area of legal advice, restructuring, insolvency administration and tax advice. We have offices in the eastern part of Germany in Berlin, Leipzig and Potsdam. Our tax consulting services comprise, inter alia, advice on corporate restructuring, company acquisitions and disposals, as well as advice on choice of legal form, setting up a company, financing and investments, preparation of business plan. Besides that, we also provide services with regard to tax audits, conduct of appeal proceedings, and participation in fiscal court proceedings. And a bigger part of our work is also defense and criminal tax proceedings. In addition to our comprehensive tax consulting services, we also offer compliance services such as preparation of bookkeeping and payroll accounting, as well as annual financial statements and tax returns. With regard to myself, I'm a German certified tax consultant and expert advisor for international taxation, and I have more than 20 years of professional experience, thereof 17 years in the tax department of two big consulting firms, Deloitte and Ernst & Young. And I also worked 3 years in the German tax authorities. So I have experience in cross-border consulting services to international corporate groups, as well as medium-sized groups of companies. In addition, I have advised owner-managed companies and their entrepreneurs for many years. My focus is on German income taxes, including group taxation and withholding taxes, as well as VAT. And I am also experienced in the advice on real estate transfer tax issues. So in addition to myself, our tax team includes another tax consultant and another specialist lawyer for tax law, who both has many years of experience in providing tax advice to companies and entrepreneurs. And furthermore, we have over 10 tax specialists and tax assistants who help us to serve our clients. So what is the ideal client? Or how he looks. I think it's a medium-sized company who want to establish a business in Germany, or who already has established a business in Germany or a PE and need helps in German taxation, or a foreign company or individual who wants to make an acquisition in Germany, such as company acquisition or real estate or something like that. Also, maybe companies who only need VAT advice or VAT compliance services in Germany. Yeah, I think that are the main clients we are looking for currently. So I hope that information is helpful, and I'm looking forward to our cooperation.
Thank you, Ulrike. That was very helpful and a lot of valuable information in there. Guys, I just wanted to say as well, I noticed there are no questions so far. If there are any questions for any members regarding services or capabilities or what they do, etc., then please let us know and we'll open those questions up to each member. And also, we are recording this session, which we will be sending over within the next week. So then you can review it to obviously go over the services and what each member does in a little bit more detail in your own time. And then obviously, of course, you can answer questions in the near future as well. We would be moving over to Maria Manzano from Spain, but unfortunately she couldn't be with us today. So obviously she will be joining us on the next call. And we do have 2 members who are potentially joining very shortly, so they will be with us on the next webinar. One thing that I did want to highlight, which is obviously adamant, is that it's clear how much experience and knowledge and expertise that we have within the whole club and the group, and also the extensive experience, in previous roles and corporations, etc. I think the most important thing here is why we actually initially, and Mitch and the team initially started the International Tax Club, is the fact that as David and Malcolm touched on, it's the personal touch to the client that is most important. That bespoke and tailored service and that personal touch is what we are looking to carry on delivering to our clients, but also what we want to maintain in the club. So obviously, as you all are aware, we're only taking 3 members on per country in a range of sizes of boutique, medium-sized and large-sized firms. And the reason is that we do not want to dilute and inundate the club with hundreds of members initially. We want to build, strong and personal relationships, so everyone is confident in each other's services and capabilities, but also have enough trust and rapport to, introduce clients, request information and expertise, which obviously is clear after this webinar today, and also, collectively introduce resources, news, etc., and have webinars like this to provide each other more value as well. So we're just going to move over to the last part before we finish, and I'm just going to pass it back over to Mitch, and he's just going to give a bit more context about what the next steps are. I just wanted to say thank you very much, guys. That information was very valuable.
Thanks, Roshan, and thanks everyone. Really useful information. What we're trying to do is provide everyone, obviously, with a platform, a networking, bespoke organisation. We've, as we said, we would created the technology. We'll be doing the marketing, the deliverables. But at the end of the day, as we all know, relationships are built by effective communication. So we will be adopting the monthly webinars where they'll go in this type of format. May not be as long. Obviously, this was our first one, but everyone will have the chance to give an insight of what they've been up to and some key client success stories on a monthly basis. So please book in the next date for your diaries, Tuesday the 30th of April at midday UK time. We've mentioned the dedication to improvements of the portal, and this will take some time, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Technology behind this is quite complicated, but by the next time that we all speak, the forums will be live, and the improvements in terms of when a new member joins emails, and that will be live as well as the social media. What we want to start doing is obviously interacting with your own social media as well. So if you have your own marketing executive, or if indeed it is yourself who is handling your social media, then let us know following the call today, and we'll introduce you to our social media executive. So then we can all, what we can do is we can like and share and retweet your ongoing digital marketing in conjunction with what we have. And if you like, on a weekly basis, if you want, if you have any news within your organization that you'd like us to put up on the Fusion International social media, then we'd be delighted to do that as well. It comes back to my point of this effective communication. And then as mentioned, the aim is to work towards the first conference where hopefully we can all get together and socialize and obviously learn a bit from each other as well. And that's something probably we'll work towards the end of the year. And hopefully we have a few more members by then as well. And then finally, obviously, Roshan is here. He's speaking with people, of course, but there's nothing like a warm introduction, as we all know. So, as he mentioned, if you do know of any trusted other advisor in a different jurisdiction, then please pass that on to Roshan, and he will follow up and discuss the group. And just to finally reiterate, every single person who we're speaking to across the world is interested in the organisation. As you all know, because you've been through the process, it takes time for them to discuss with their partners, discuss whether they've got the marketing budget, and then for us to do our due diligence. We do see this as within the next 12 months to be very, very successful. And from my personal point of view, we appreciate the effort and the patience that you've all shown. And just to reiterate that we are 110% dedicated to finding the right tax advisors across the world, so we can all collaborate and provide the best service to our international clients.
Thank you very much, Mitch. And I'm sure that you would all join me, guys, and I wish Mitch a big thank you as well for actually putting the International Tax Club together. I mean, as he mentioned to all of you, it was a concept that came from 12 months of research, development and testing, that came from initial problems that he was facing in the international circuit. And obviously, and this is the reason that the International Tax Club reached inception late last year, and is why we're all here today to collaborate and obviously innovate collectively. So I just wanted to touch on a few points that Mitch has mentioned, is that obviously we have the webinar, which is later, which is at the end of April, the last Tuesday of the month at the same time. Let us know, obviously, if that works for you. Obviously, we can adjust the time if necessary, but that's the time that we're putting in stone for now. Also, just as I mentioned earlier, guys, obviously the portal, the resources section, if you do have an overview document of your services and capabilities in a PDF format, send that over to me and Shimon, please. We'll get that uploaded as well to provide more value across the group. And also, if you have any relevant news which is specific to and topical that you believe will bring value, let us know as well. As Mitch has mentioned, we're going to be pushing, social media and brand awareness in a big way in the next coming month or two. So let us know, obviously, as well regarding what you do for marketing, and we can work together and help to innovate there, as we do have a digital marketing division at Fusion. And also to add in your members section, please update your capabilities, your bio. If you haven't got a picture or anything outstanding from your profile, update that, so then at least you can build more rapport and obviously trust amongst the group and the club. Again, please remember, guys, this is a collaborative effort. So if you do have any suggestions, just as I've mentioned a few today, whether it's suggestions, anything that you believe that will bring extra value and capabilities to the club and what we're doing, email me, Mitch and Shimon, and obviously we will take those opinions and those views into and collate all of them, I should say, and we will implement them accordingly, obviously providing they bring value to the club. And last but not least, as we've mentioned, is that I am speaking to many firms across the globe. It's all about making sure that these firms that I'm speaking to are the right fit, and it does work for both sides, and also that they can bring value and with their services and what they're doing and how they are handling their capabilities in their countries also. If you do have any relationships that are pre-existing and you have trust in any firm's experience and their capabilities, send me over an email or contact me directly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send a collective email to all of you later at some point today, just giving a roundup of this webinar. And send me any details necessary, or my direct dials on there as well, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with them, because obviously the more members, and providing they are the right fit that we have in the club, the more that this will develop and the more the momentum will pick up and the more we will progress collectively as well. So yeah, I'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone. Welcome to Renate and Ulrike, and also Mary for joining us today, David, Malcolm as well, and Augusto. It's been a pleasure to speak to you all, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, Roshan, and thanks everyone for your time. Much appreciated, and we'll keep the momentum going. Many thanks.
Take care.